Hello, hello, welcome back. And today I'm sharing our trip to South Africa we took earlier this year. It was such a beautiful, amazing trip. I have lots of fun videos and pictures to share and things I don't think you guys have seen before. So that was the Namib Desert, and that was the first place we went on land, which is shown here because the whole trip was on the ocean from Atlanta to Johannesburg. And earlier in these clips, you saw where we sat. We sat next to the wall, in the plane. There's like that wall in front of us. And those are the best kind of seats to have because then you don't have someone in front of you. So that's just a FYI right there. And this is the hotel we stayed at. Once we flew into the airport in Johannesburg, there's a hotel, the City Lodge Hotel, that's there. And it's very nice because Johannesburg isn't the safest to just go out at night. So we just stayed there the night. And this is the meal I had. It was called the shisa nyama, which was a traditional meal. It was amazing. And yeah, so this is the next morning on May 14th. That was a little bakery we stopped at. And yeah, it was a 3-hour drive north around Bella Bella where we stayed for the safari. This is Pretoria, one of South Africa's 3 capitals. And they have toll roads like on the east coast of America. It's really nice we don't have them on the west coast. But this picture reminded me so much of Arizona, like just the prairie, so beautiful. And we stopped at a little, not restaurant, what's it called? Grocery store called Checkers to pick up food for camp because the PH picked us up. So this was the drive. All the roads are dirt roads except for the main highway. And this is when we're just getting to the reserve itself where we stayed. And this was the camp with the lodge, the tents, the whole crew. It was so beautiful.
So I'm in that one over there.
And yeah, so there were tents on both sides of like the mess hall and the house where the owners actually stayed. And the first animal we saw was a nyala. There's a little water hole they had there. So you could just see all the animals that would come. And so this was one of the tents. They were all pretty much the same. And so I got a tent, and my brother got one, and then my parents got another. And I was not excited. This was the first time I stayed by myself. And I was like, the first time I stay by myself, it has to be in Africa and in a tent. Like, I did not want to stay separate. I wanted to share a room with my brother or somebody. But anyways, it was so funny because the PH thought I was crazy. Like, who wouldn't want a separate room? So I finally gave in. And it was nice, actually. So there was running water and hot water and flushing toilets and everything. I mean, there's even a heater. It was really nice. I mean, the shower looked a little bit bare bones, but it was still good. It still worked. And so, yeah, it was really, really cute. Very nice tents. I think it's kind of luxury. I think most places don't have it this nice. So then that afternoon we went out stalking. And this is my disclaimer for you guys because it is hunting and why hunting is good in case you guys aren't convinced. So you can pause for that. And this is the sunset. It was so pretty. And of course the bomas they would have at night. And dinner. All the meals are kind of like meat and some potatoes and vegetables, and it was really nice. Oh, and then this, because that door was glass, and I covered it up because, I didn't want anybody looking in. Oh. And so this is the next morning, so the 15th, we went to Elandsburg, which was the next, reserve over. And my dad and brother were hunting. And there's a mom giraffe and a baby giraffe that were there like at 7 a.m. when we got there. It was so cute. And yeah, so this was the reserve that Mr. Wow was found. And he's the kudu if you look him up. He's the largest kudu ever recorded. He's 79 inches, his horns. So they, made sure that his lineage got spread. So if you see any kudu with really deep curves, their horns, it's a Mr. Wow. And anyways, can you guys see the zebras? I did not think zebras could blend in, but they do. Anyways, this place was 46 to 56,000 acres and it had like 11 owners. So, anyways, look at the zebra's face. Like, just the beauty of it. And then in black and white, it's more striking. But I was like, wow, it's just like art. Like, that God designed that. I love it in the black and white. Yeah. And then these are a herd of giraffes, and the video looks just like that picture. Except the only thing that you can tell it's a video is because their tails move.
Right. Yep.
It's the funniest thing. Yeah, and then we saw some rhinos, and they cut off their horns because otherwise the poachers will kill the animal really, really terribly. So they'll suffer. So that's why you just cut the horns off. They anesthetize them and do that. And these eggs, the guy who was kind of running the reserve we went to, he had actually drawn those eggs when he was young. And I was like, wow, that is a lot of talent right there. And this is Zazu, if you guys know from Lion King. I thought he was cute. And a kudu eating. The kudu are so magnificent, especially the males and how they carry themselves and everything. And then that evening, a storm kind of rolled in, and it was the most dramatic, like, theatrical effects. It was so pretty. Yeah, the wind started picking up, and anyways, it just felt so alive. It was amazing. And then a rainbow. Yeah. Anyways, it was just, those pictures, it's just so amazing. The grass is such a golden color, which didn't really translate onto the photos, but anyways. And then there's this go-away bird that kind of sounds like a terrible sound, but we call it a go-away bird because you want it to go away because it makes this terrible sound and it alerts all the animals that you're there. So it's actually called the gray lory, but anyways, it was a funny thing he was telling us about. And yeah, and this is the sunset. And the blue wildebeest we got. He was very old, so that was good. And yeah, just magnificent. He's going to live forever now because we have his memory. And anyways, it rained, and this was afterwards, and then it started getting dark so fast. But just look at the beauty of these animals. I don't know if you've seen them like up close, but they're just works of art. Anyway, so this is where we'd have breakfast and dinner. And this was one of the breakfasts. It was really fancy. I think French toast, but I just had meat. Because I don't want to have bread. But this is one of the kudus that, that was the kudu we went after. And if you can see him, he's in there. But if you can look down the horns, you can see the eye right below. So when they tilt their head back, they're such perfectly designed that they can look right, in between their horns. Or, yeah, right in the center of it, and see predators behind them or anything. So that was really amazing. And yeah, aren't they just, yeah, so perfectly designed and so different. And then all their striping is different. So this is a female kudu. They are so graceful. Yeah, I was happy to get a nice picture. And this is one of the stalks, so they're going with one of the trackers. He is like a really good tracker, the native. Yeah. A lot of them just have super special talents like that. A lot of people will say they can track a butterfly. They're that good. But anyways, it's so beautiful. It reminded me of like the cottonwood side of Arizona, looking at Mingus Mountain. And even just like, do you see the animal in there? And the zebra. And it was just so funny. It didn't seem real. It kind of looked like being at a zoo or something. But yeah. So then this, I got a nyala. That was where I got the nyala. It was right in this area here. So I just hunted one animal. And I wasn't even planning to hunt. But the PH asked me if I wanted to hunt something. And I was like, yeah, the nyala. They're beautiful, beautiful animals with the orange legs. And yeah, I cried. It made me really sad. But I saved him from a hyena's death or something terrible. He died very quickly. So, like instant. So that was good. and he's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, and so soft. Their whole face, I don't know if you know it, but it feels like a horse's nose, how soft it is. That's how their whole face feels. So this was with the tracker and one of the guys that was helping too. And then we had lunch afterwards, and yeah, my dad was trying to start a fire with a binocular just to be funny. And that picture I had drawn in the sand of Nyala. At least I tried anyways. So they were building a fire, and anyways, just the sounds of just the nature and just everything was just something else. It felt like how our ancestors had it, just being out in nature and just feeling the smallness of yourself and how vulnerable you are, really. And yeah. Do you see the sable in there? So this was at the Kwabi. Oh, and if you see, the PH is holding that piece of grass. He was using it to tickle me and tease me, which I did not realize. And here he was doing a kudu call, so he said. He said he would call in kudus for us, those ones you just saw.
Remember we passed those kudu cows at the back, right?
Yes.
You'll see them, they're going to respond.
And then what are you going to do to them?
No, I just want to show you. So after cutting these grooves, you cut the slot here at the top. Yeah. So with this, you can control it.
Okay.
Yeah, kudu, kudu! Come! Yeah, kudu, kudu!
Anyways, as you can see, he was full of pranks. And so the next morning, my mom and I stayed at camp in the morning time. And just to, watch the wildlife, and it's so quiet and pretty. Anyways, those grunting noises are the impala in rut. And so they sound like pigs, and they do it all night, and it's the craziest sounding thing. It sounds like pigs, honestly. You don't think a little dainty antelope would be making that kind of noises. And then this is Nyala, a Nyala bull, and some Nyala females. And yeah, and that's what I loved about, Nyalas are just so dainty and cute and graceful. And then we saw Cape buffalo, an ostrich. Cape buffalo are really dangerous. Yeah, so there's the ostrich walking out there if you can see it. And there was this rhino like right outside the ranch house. It was crazy. A mom and her 3-year-old baby and her other baby. And yeah, we even had, okay, so this was a stalk of a hartebeest, a red hartebeest. And it looks like something from Star Wars, doesn't it? Yeah. And this is the evening going back. I let my brother have my phone to get some footage from the top of the cab. Yeah. And then the nighttime. Yeah. We saw some porcupine even that night. And then the next morning, the PH made me some tea. I thought he was going to put salt in it or something, but he actually was being actually nice. And then look at this bone that they had there. It was like beautifully drawn on. And I don't know how they did it because it was on a curve, And then this was the skinning shed where we'd take the animals. And then since we were done hunting, we just went out for fun. We're actually driving backwards because we went on the wrong road. But it was fun. And then this tree looks like a tree, but then it turns into a cactus on top. It's the weirdest thing. And yeah, we actually had an encounter with a black mamba. It struck at the vehicle and then hard, we could hear it. And then it stood up. So it's like eye to eye level with my brother on the truck. And then it just just flopped itself back down and slithered away. But that was a close call because those things are like the Black Death. They will kill you, and there hardly is really any cure. So, but they're just the weirdest things to just see them like stand up and for it to be fine after hitting the truck so hard, you know, because it's striking at it like they're full of vengeance. And they're having a rock throwing competition. So that was kind of fun. And he could throw it so far, it looked like it could hit the other mountain. And it didn't really show up on here. Anyways, he was showing me how to hold it. And I stole the PH's phone for a while because he kept stealing mine. And and he didn't know that I did it. I was mad because he would not give my phone back. This is an elephant reserve we went to. And so I thought he had it on him, but I couldn't like find it, and I wasn't gonna go dig in his pockets or anything. And so I was kind of like sitting in front of him, kind of like looking to see like if he'd give any clue where it was. And he wasn't. So then I got the idea because he was swinging his phone in his hands. I was like, okay, I'm gonna steal his phone. So I looked around the corner, like pretending to see something. And so when he looked, I quickly like grabbed his phone and like skipped off. And everyone was surprised because they didn't think I would do that. But anyways, it was kind of funny. And then I was kind of like mocking him afterwards, just for fun. And it made him so mad. It was so funny. But I gave it back before we went to the elephant sanctuary. And the elephants were so... Anyways, I'm just saying that because this was the first prank I've ever done in my entire life. But anyways, so this is the elephant sanctuary, and they are so smart. You'd feed it and tell it your name, and then you'd have us all like line up, and the elephant would know who was who.
Remember Amanda?
Yeah.
Where's
And we
Amanda?
also did the same thing with shoes. Like the cat would throw it to
I think she
you,
likes
or
Amanda.
the elephant
You can
would.
throw back to her, man. Remember Lindo?
And then he
Where's
also
Lindo, Missy?
it was shoes. We'd give it one of our shoes. And by the smell that we would,
So now,
you know,
I will demonstrate to you how quick.
mix ourselves up. So it wasn't like memorizing place or anything. It actually knew us by smell and would give our shoe back. And he put my shoe in his mouth. I don't know why. And then, did you know warthogs, they eat on their knees, like sometimes how goats do. And I just thought that was interesting. Oh, and he got us this nice drink from the gas station, which was nice. I've never had it before. And that was dinner again. And that evening we did a night hunt. And yeah, they would like prep the beds for... Yeah, so that was the morning drums that they would do to like wake everyone up at 6. But it wasn't actually annoying. I was happy. And then these were the pet springbucks they had on the property. I don't think we were supposed to chase them, but I just wanted a picture. So we kind of went a little bit close and we scared them, poor things. But it was just for like 30 seconds. So I'm sure they'll live. But they're so pretty because they're not naturally found in this area. My morning tea again. And this time we put out porcupine bait because for the night hunt we were going to try for porcupine. And that thing was supposed to spread corn. And if you can see, you'll see the little, this thing. I forget what it's called. Where we would hide a blind to see. And then we saw this blessed bok driving around. And he was old. And he was actually blind in one eye because he would not get up. When they'd clap to get him up or anything. So he was really, really old. And then we sat in a tree blind one evening, and the Nyala came in. So that was cute. That was fun. And they're so dainty and like elegant. They're like little ladies. So all these animals would come to drink at the little water hole, and that was a lot of fun. And even a mongoose came. I didn't know they had mongoose there. And then he just like scampered away. You can see him run. And I actually got to drive the stick shift for the night hunting. And look at these birds, they're amazing. And the kudu. But they actually drive on the opposite side of the road, so the stick is like in your other hand. So that was kind of interesting. Took me a little while to get used to. I don't think I fully got used to it. But that was fun. I was the only one that got to drive there, so that was fun. And a giraffe came, and he was super wary. Like, he wanted to come drink, but he knew that something was off, like that we were around, so he never actually did. But that was fun. And then when we were hiking earlier that day, the PH asked, or said that, hey, I'm looking for this thing. Oh, here in the night hunt, they're trying to look for some critters. And then more Nyala. And then the next day I went to a mine shaft. Anyways, so he said he was looking for this critter, out in the mountains as we were hiking around. And, well, first let me show you this. These are called the McDonald's of Africa because it has an M on their butt. And then he drew a smiley face on the door. That's another nice thing. But anyways, that was the last evening, and the Nyala I drew. But he said, what did he say? Do you know what I'm looking for? The rock. And we said, it's a rock hyrax is what he was looking for. And he said, do you know what the closest relative is? And I said, yes, it's the elephant. And he was like, how did you know? And Mom said, she studied. And it was just funny because he was so bummed out because he thought we wouldn't know. But anyways, this was the last.
Just to find out how his trip is going on. That must be half of it yet. No. I've got to go over 2 and then.
He kept getting turned around in the roundabouts. And then for the first time, I saw a Bitcoin vending machine. And we flew from South Africa to Zambia to see the Victoria Falls. And it was actually a private airline. So they served really nice food. The pilot came on the intercom and said that salt pans were on the left and what countries we were flying over. Because, Mom asked the air hostess, and so she said she'd ask the pilot, and the pilot came on the intercom, and it just reminded me of the old days. And that was really cool. So this is in Zambia, close to Livingstone, where we landed. And our driver was so, so sweet. I mean, people there have such open, warm hearts. It's so beautiful. And so this is that was at the hotel, and then this was our first look at the Victoria Falls. It was pretty epic. And the falls are like a mile long. They're the largest falls in the world. And you can see it from the plane when you're coming in to land. And then the rainbows were so striking, and they actually went in full circles. If you'd be on the bridge and the rainbow could go under it, you would see it went full circle. And so that evening we did a sunset cruise, and we saw this elephant drinking water, and he was huge. He was so big. And there was also an elephant that killed one of the locals, like really close by, just a couple days before. So that was scary. I mean, they are powerful creatures. And we also saw hippo. They also will kill you. But the sunset was really, really pretty. It was really peaceful. Anyways, you guys should definitely do it if you guys ever go. That sunset cruise, it is totally worth it. And the next morning, we went to see the Victoria Falls again at like 6 a.m. And with the morning light, it was so pretty. All the pastel colors. Anyways, I mean, the power that you could feel from the falls was just amazing. And you guys have to experience it. You definitely have to go. And so the falls, they separate Zambia from Zimbabwe, which is right across the way. There's a bridge. And anyways, next time we'll have to do that just for fun. But the locals will take their wood or whatever on their bikes and will go across the bridge every day to sell, because Zimbabwe, their currency is so bad, they have to use the US dollar. And everyone wants the US dollar. And so that's where that guy that I told you about that got killed by the elephant was, because he was going in the middle of the night on that road. And there's elephants out there, and sometimes they do not take a liking to you. So that's kind of sad. But that's Africa for you. Then my brother was having fun taking videos. But the landscape was just amazing. It almost reminded me of China right here, you know, with those big, like, conical mountains that they show and then the mist going through them. That's what it reminded me of. So this was the breakfast place at the hotel. It was really, really nice. The omelets there were like the best I have ever had. And they had zebra roaming around and some other antelopes and monkeys. You had to make sure you kept your doors locked, because otherwise the monkeys would come in and look for any food that you had. And then we went to this little mart, like store that the locals would go to. And I felt like going into a church. They had this music, and it was so peaceful. Anyways, I was under the impression that everyone there was more religious than we are in America. But then we flew back to Johannesburg and flew back home. So this is over Johannesburg. It looked a lot like Phoenix, like all the lights that just keep on going forever. And yeah, it was a beautiful, wonderful trip. If you guys ever get a chance to go, definitely do it. And then your money can go to helping the animals, you know, because hunting is conservation and it brings so much more money than the picture safaris, and it really helps them. So, yeah.